Should Tommy do a Roth conversion to help him avoid IRMAA? All right, so we all remember what IRMAA is. IRMAA is the increase in your Medicare Part B and Part D if you make a certain amount of money above a threshold. In this case, for a single guy, it's 106. It's your modified adjusted gross income. Maggie is just your AGI with a couple of additions, your tax-exempt interest. I think there might be some real estate, I can't remember. Tax-exempt interest is the big one, so maybe some foreign tax credits or something like that. What's the, I don't think there's anything on real estate. I can't remember, but the basic one is tax-exempt interest. So if my man Tom makes over $106,000, he will pay more for his IRMAA, his Medicare Part B and Part D. And where we're looking at right here is we're looking at about 150 to 175 will be his Maggie's, AGI plus, he doesn't have any tax-exempt interest, but just Maggie. So he's looking at between another doubling of his Medicare premiums. So if Medicare premiums cost him roughly $200, plus his Medicare Part D, which is his prescription drugs, we're saying is probably going to cost him an extra $250 a month for IRMAA, for Medicare. So instead of paying $250 a month for Part B and Part D, it's going to cost him $500 a month. All right. So that's an extra $3,000 a year. We're talking about $250 a month is $3,000 a year. An extra $3,000 a year to cover that. All right. Now he's 66 years old, so he's got another 24 years ahead of us. So $3,000 a year times 24 is $72,000 is what we're going to say. Now, it does include inflation because we're not inflating that. Why? Because I'm going to show you here in just a second. So we're just assuming that he's got to spend $72,000 in total IRMAA. I guess let me tell you why we're not inflating that. Because IRMAA tax brackets are adjusted with inflation. And Medicare Part B and Part D is adjusted for inflation as well. So as one goes up, the other goes up. See what I'm saying? So it's basically even Steven. So it's going to cost him an extra $72,000, assuming he lives till he's 90, for his Medicare payments. Part B and Part D. So now the question is, all right, should he do a Roth conversion, a big Roth conversion, we'll just say $100,000 to help offset that? Because if he did a $100,000 Roth conversion, he'd have enough cash, theoretically, to avoid the IRMAAs because he'd have this $100,000 Roth. Now I'm going to the answer is no. And you got to be, this is not a very precise way to look at it because $100,000 would actually, I'll show you what he's looking at here. We'll see his expenses. Would $100,000 actually do much damage in terms of reducing these total expenses? Not much, not much. He would have to do a significant Roth conversion to avoid being an IRMAA. Because look, he's got living expenses, $6,000 a month. He's got a mortgage right there. He's got a rental. He pays rent. He's paying rent. And he's a great guy. Great guy. He's helping out some people that really need it. So he's paying their mortgage essentially, and he's getting income from. He's got a mortgage on his rental house. All right. Anyway, the point being, that's his total expenses, and the vast majority of his wealth is tied up in his 401k/IRA. So $100,000 Roth conversion might reduce his IRMAA for a couple of years, but it's not going to reduce it for much. It's just not. But it gets even worse than that. So, I mean, he would have to do significant Roth conversions to reduce his IRMAA a total of $72,000. Let's just say $100,000 would do it. Even that I wouldn't do it. So check this out. So here is his effective tax rate at 14% essentially. And look how level that is. Look at that level effective tax rate. It's like a 2x6, man. Just flat as can be. That's where you want to see. That's what we shoot for, in my opinion, in retirement planning. We shoot for an effective tax rate, a level effective tax rate. So the untrained person would say, hey, if you do a $100,000 Roth conversion, it only costs you $14,000. And if that were true, yeah, I'd make an argument. Say you should do a Roth conversion for $14,000 because that will at least save you a couple years of IRMAA. But that's not true. Watch this. Look at this. When I was running the numbers with this guy, Touchdown Tommy, I was like, damn, look. This is the 22% bracket right there. The top of the 22% bracket. There's a 10%, 12%, 22. If he were to do Roth conversions of $100,000, it's not going to cost him 14% because that's your effective tax rate, the total taxes you pay on the entirety of your income. This is your marginal rate. The next dollar of income is taxed at what? Your marginal rate. Look how just right there, he's just right on the top of that 22% bracket, top, which meant if he added any additional income, it won't be taxed at 10, 12, 22, 14, it'd be taxed at 24. So for him to do a $100,000 Roth conversion, it's going to cost him $24,000 in taxes today. Today. $24,000 in taxes today, assuming all things are equal, to save $72,000 over the course of the next 25 years. What does it say? 24 years. Man, not worth it. Not worth it. I mean, if you can say $24,000 today to save $72,000 in taxes tomorrow, that's one thing. But $24,000 today to save $3,000 a year, each and every year for the next 24 years. No, that's not worth it at all. And the reason for that is quite simple, because what can that $24,000 grow to? I mean, literally, what can it grow to? Each and every year, let's just say 5% rate of return, compounded. It just doesn't make sense, especially when you're tiptoeing right at that tax. I mean, it's crazy. Look at how close he is to 22%. He's right on the cusp. Anything he does, additional income is going to put him in the 24% tax bracket. In fact, you can see right here, we're starting to get in the next one. If he does $100,000, that could slowly put him, depending on what happens with his RMDs and whatnot, that could easily put him, because I'm only giving a 5.2% rate of return, but that $100,000, he doesn't have RMDs here, but I'm just saying at the end of the day, he's right there on that 22. So anything could happen where he gets actually did a $100,000 Roth conversion. It might put him in the 24 to 32. Is it 32 or 33? I can't remember. 32. Not likely, but if he has some extra income he wasn't considering, maybe he couldn't take a depreciation. Maybe all this stuff, it could put him right there. So now it wouldn't be just 24% he's paying on the next dollar marginal tax rate. It could be 32%. Now, that don't make any sense to me at all. So I said, no, don't do it. Because IRMAA's just, yeah, it's a hassle. It's a pain. $250 a month is a whole lot better, in my opinion, than freaking doing Roth conversion. Because again, a 100,000 Roth conversion isn't going to, I mean, it'll do him a couple of years. Don't get me wrong. That'll take some income off where he doesn't have to pay more for IRMAA than he already is going to. But at the end of the day, it's not going to save it. He's going to have to do $100,000 Roth conversions probably every 4 to 5 years. It's just not worth it, man. I just don't think IRMAA's that big of a deal. I mean, I like it. I wish you could avoid it. And if you read my book, Touchdown Tommy, is it this one or this one? I think it's this one. If you read my book, Touchdown Tommy, you would have figured out a way to avoid IRMAA. Well, not him, because he had already been retired. But still, this is where we want to make the Roth our friend while we're younger. That way we can avoid IRMAA as we go forward. And frankly, that way, hopefully, we can avoid tax on Social Security by being poor on paper. All right, love your thoughts. Smash that like button. Just give it a smash. And if you don't like it to smash it, give it a fondle. Hee hee hee. Give it a tickle, 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 tickle. Do it Al Franken. Tickle, tickle, tickle. All right, God bless. We'll see you.